Hey guys, welcome to Coffee Convos. This is episode 101.
101, because we are giving you the 411. I was going to say it was like, oh gosh. And then I look down at my phone and wonder why I have interference. And it's the media trying to call me over and over like they have been all morning, because somebody from the media keeps trying to call me, and I know it is because it's like a LA number.
And tell them to fuck off.
I just play that game like where you don't answer. And if you don't answer, like maybe you died or something. Maybe they'll like think that you died. But they never do. So
they're relentless.
So I'm thinking that they're probably trying to call because I know that you said that when I was absent from that episode a couple of weeks ago, that
absent? Are we in grade school?
Yeah, I mean, whatever you want to call it, like missing, absent. What would be another word for like gone? MIA.
Out of the office, right?
Out of the office, yeah. So when I was out of the office, I was doing another show. And now I can say what I did because it's airing on Thursday. I went on Dr. Phil. So you guys can catch that episode if you listen to this in enough time to catch it like in real time. Or if you don't listen to this until Friday, then you'll have to go back to their website and like watch the episode.
I'm very anxious to see the episode.
You know what's so funny?
What?
That I tricked people for so long, making them think
They thought you were on the Masked Singer.
Yes, but then you know what's so funny about that? Dr. Drew was on The Masked Singer.
Okay, I still don't know what the fuck that show is.
That's because you didn't do your research like I told you to do.
I saw a picture of it. I'm eating rice, Cuban rice right now.
What is it?
It's Cuban, arroz con pollo.
I don't know what that is, Kail. Is that Spanish?
Yes. It's rice with chicken and sausage.
Sounds great, but not really like
I didn't make it, but no, it's not.
So it's like a dinner dish.
Oh yeah. It's leftovers, but I don't have the older two boys every other week, so I don't cook like I should. So me and Lex will share stuff like this, but he's at school, so.
Are you eating this cold or is it warm?
Well, it was warm when I heated it up, but now that we're recording, it's cold.
I got it. So. Okay. Well, that sounds great.
Right.
So anyway, so I have been getting some crazy messages on Twitter and on Instagram. I guess like on Twitter, people can't send you like private messages unless like you're friends with them or something, but then they just like tweet it to the Twitterverse or whatever you want to call it. So then like everybody sees it. But then I guess on Instagram, some people will go on and comment and just be like horrible. But then some people will not comment horrible, but then they'll go in your DM and say like some really crazy stuff. And I'm just like, where are you getting this information? Like, I don't understand. And I feel like it's been more recently than not that people have been saying like crazy stuff. And I wasn't really sure why people were saying nutbag stuff, because I was like, what in the world? Like, where is this coming from? I kind of felt like things had died down a little bit. And then just when I think something dies down, then it just gets like all amped back up, and I'm just not understanding. So this one woman, WL Barnett 719, goes on my Instagram and has been leaving crazy comments, and then sends me a message yesterday and says, so now that your parents have been found not guilty, maybe you and Kail should get your facts straight before trashing them on your podcast. First of all, You know, when the first of all comes, it's going to be like bad. First of all, lady, nobody has trashed anybody, really. I feel like I've been very respectful and also have taken advice from my attorney to make sure that I'm not saying things that I shouldn't be saying. So other people involved in the situation should probably also take advice from legal counsel. Second of all, the media blew up this thing about my parents being not guilty, so on and so forth. And then the next thing I know, I'm getting all of these crazy messages from people saying stuff to me like, you know, oh, was I lying, or was I this, or was I that? So let me cover that, because one, I'm not a liar. And two, I have never spoke out in regards to their legal matters. So anything that I've spoken about has been something that has directly been done to me or related to me, and not about their legal dealings. But what I will say is that the media tends to turn things into something that they're not. So to say found not guilty would indicate that there had been court proceedings or some type of formal charges taken out, and then people had to go to court in order to be found not guilty of something.
Right.
There were never quote unquote charges. So I'm very confused. So, the Ashley had reported that I had stated on an Instagram like question thing that somebody had asked me how I felt about them being found not guilty. And I was like, not guilty of what? It was a serious question because I didn't know what they were talking about. So then I tweeted how I was genuinely confused on how you can be found not guilty for charges that never existed. So there were never tax evasion charges to my knowledge in the state of Georgia. There had never been reports of tax evasion charges like for the state. That had been reported that there were tax evasion charges federally. So I found it interesting that there was this twist media-wise that they were found not guilty for evasion charges in the state of Georgia. So as far as that is concerned, you guys can catch my Dr. Phil episode, and I'm sure people will have a lot of things to say. But what I will say is that I'm not a liar. If I say something, it's because I have proof of something. And everyone doesn't know what goes on behind closed doors. And just because you watch something and think that you know somebody doesn't mean that you know them. Just like necessarily if people are listening to anything that I'm saying doesn't necessarily mean that you know me personally.
Right. I think that people are just, we've talked about it so many times, like so invested in some of the wrong things. And I love that people listen to our podcast, but sometimes they have to like truly follow the bouncing ball here, because I think there's a lot of moving parts in this whole like story, and like your parents and whoever, like there's a lot of moving parts as far as it goes. So they need to have all their facts and all of their, if they're going to be invested, they have to be invested correctly. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, because I feel like sometimes people just get invested in a headline and they haven't read the entire thing. So like,
right,
they will see just like a generic headline from some tabloid, and obviously those are written so that it gains an interest for people to click on there and for people to read the actual story. If you're following the actual entire story and you have any brains, you kind of know what's going on. And if you can't decipher, what truly is going on, then you shouldn't be listening to me or anybody else for that matter, or you just shouldn't be involved, period. Because unless you can like take the facts for what the facts are, then I don't know what to say.
I told you I had someone text my phone and say it was like the link to your parents or something, you know, found not guilty or whatever. And I was like, they said to me, oh, does Lindsie even know what she's talking about, or some bullshit ass thing like that. And I'm like, that is literally not what's going on. Like, maybe don't say anything at all. Don't text me, because I personally don't know your parents. I don't know your family. I don't know. I just know what I follow and what I know is right and wrong. And I know what to believe and what not to believe. But it was just like, literally, just wait, honestly.
And I mean, it's also to me like funny, because it's very clear when somebody leaks something to the media, because it's always very, what a lot of times when somebody leaks something, what is leaked would not be even accessible by the media.
Right.
You would have to have, trying to figure out, like, for example, how you got accused of leaking stuff about Javi and Lauren. Certain details that you would have, it would be very clear if you would have been the person that would have leaked it, because the details that you would have had access to. You know what I'm saying?
Right. They would have known, okay, Kail was here from this point to this point, or Kail wasn't here. This is what we told Kail. It's almost like, I've been told so many times, tell 3 of your friends 3 different things and see who leaks it, because you'll know. No, I'm being dead serious. Like, you just know. And that's what I've had a couple things happen to me in the last couple weeks. And I'm like, if this was to come out, I know who leaked it. You know what I mean? And so, you know, as somebody who's part of this family, you know who's leaking what information. Like, you know.
Right. Because I be knowing.
Because you be knowing.
I'm just like, wow. But enough on that already.
Okay, so if you guys are anything like me, you're constantly challenged to find a daily balance in your life due to demands of work and the need to feel constantly productive. A powerful way to take back your time and be present is right in the kitchen, thanks to Equal Parts.
Equal Parts is a high-quality cookware line that is amazing and super easy to use, but here's the kicker. You can text real chefs who are standing by to provide one-on-one expertise and insight into every step of the cooking process.
So you get the tools, methods, and support from Equal Parts. You can even tell them what's in your fridge, and they'll tell you what to make. Plus, cooking at home is a great way to save money. I got my Equal Parts stuff last week, and I am not even kidding you. I literally opened my stuff and used it that day. I love it, and they're non-stick, so they're really high quality, and I love that I don't know how to cook, and I'm able to text somebody right away.
I absolutely loved mine too. I also got mine last week, and I just felt like the stuff is so chic and it's usable, and it's not so high tech that you can't figure out how to use it. Like, I just love the simplicity of it, and I think it's great. So get into the rhythm of the kitchen with friendly and inviting cookware, coaching, and guidance from Equal Parts, all with free shipping and free returns. Visit equalparts.com and get $50 off of any cookware kit over $200 with code COFFEE. That's equalparts.com, enter code COFFEE. On to other news. A lot of messages that we got about the attachment to vehicles was honestly amazing. Like, I was so amazed, Kail, by the amount of people that were like, yes, like, this is a thing. Like, this is very much a thing.
Okay. Solid. Okay. So
you want me to read a few?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the first one. Hi, listened to your podcast last week, and you had asked if anyone else's child is attached emotionally to their family's car. My daughter, who is 9, is attached to everything. She cries about anything we get rid of and get anything new, like a couch, a car, pretty much anything. I think that is because they are empathetic and actually feel bad for the item and feel bad that it is going away. Does Jackson have issues changing anything else in the house? If not, it's pretty normal. I get sad when I get a new vehicle. It becomes part of your life and holds memories. I feel how my daughter reacts is a lot more extreme. It is definitely hard to see your child so sad. I love the podcast and I'm finally caught up. I'm a huge fan of Teen Mom and have watched since the beginning. Hi, Kail. Hi, Lindsie. Keep up the great work. I was a teen mom myself, and my kids are now 18, 16, and 9. It has been tough. I would love to share my story with you, but Instagram doesn't give much word count per message. Take care. Love you, ladies.
Oh.
So, I don't know that Jackson's ever like been attached to a couch, but definitely the vehicle. And I just think it's because like you go places in it and just like becomes part of like your daily life. But I mean, I guess a couch does too. But this lady was super sweet. And I appreciate all of the support and I'm glad that you're finally caught up. Actually, speaking on that, somebody messaged us and was like, I just found out about this podcast. And I was like, what? And then she was like, does it matter what order I listen to the episodes in? And in a way, I think it probably doesn't matter because we're so all over the place about everything. But also, in a way, I feel like there's certain things that we mention in certain episodes that you would have to have heard the one previous or maybe like a couple before that to understand what we're talking about. So in a way, I do think that you should listen to it like from start to finish.
Well, I mean, also, it's crazy that you say that because I was thinking about it earlier today. It's like the progression of us and the growth of us in the podcast. In the first episodes, we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. So we probably had a lot more like awkward silences. Like, you know what I mean? Like there was probably like, what do we talk about now? You know what I mean? So now 2 years later, it's like, okay, we know what to do. We know how to move through those awkward, you know, how do we transition from this topic to the next? There's just a lot of growth and progression in us. So I feel like if you were to listen to it, you know, episode 77, and then you go back and listen to episode 3, you're going to be like, well, what the hell?
What were they doing?
Yeah. Like, I feel like I remember our first episode was about like Alfredo maybe, or like chili dip or something. Wasn't it?
I don't know.
Our first,
that was 100 episodes ago.
Yeah, I know. But I was thinking about it. Like, I think it was like white chili something. Wasn't that our first episode?
White chicken chili? That definitely was not our first episode. I mean, it was like a first, but it definitely wasn't the first.
No, it was the first.
Okay, whatever. We'll go back and like listen and then I'll update you guys on what was on the first episode. And if we sounded bad, probably I'll just go ahead and say yes. The next person said, I just listened to the 100th episode and wanted to comment on the part about Jackson being upset about Will getting rid of his truck. When I was younger, my dad got rid of his Hummer that he had until I was 12, and we got rid of it. I was really sad because I felt like a piece of my childhood was getting taken away from me, and I was sad because I had so many family memories in there. And I was also really upset when we moved away from our first home too. I don't know why, but I just felt like it's gone, and then somehow memories would go away too and things would change. I'm older now, so I know that that's not true, but at the time I did not know that things would not change. I love you guys, and I just wanted to share. Y'all are amazing. So
honestly, I could see that. I mean, when you put it like that, like, oh, you've had this car since you were 12, like there's so many. Yeah. I mean, I could understand that. And the house thing. Yeah, I get that. So I could sympathize with that, or empathize, whatever.
Empathize, sympathize. We don't really care what we're doing right at this moment. I thought about it though. And I was like trying to go back on my childhood and think about if I had any specific memories of like places. And like, I remember kind of like everywhere I lived, but I wasn't sad when we left it, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So, thanks everybody for sharing those messages with us. There were tons of them and we don't have time to read like all, but, I just feel like Jackson's normal now.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is comforting knowing that other people and other people's kids are experiencing the same types of emotions. So I think it can be very helpful. All right, you guys, I know a lot of our listeners work in the healthcare field, and I think we can all agree these people are everyday heroes. And thank goodness that they can get big scrubs to look at and feel their best at work.
I love Figs. Their products are so unbelievably comfortable, and I love how they were designed specifically for people in the medical field. They are soft, high-quality fabrics and have features to accommodate all the tools these folks use at work. And I know because I ordered some of like the shirts, I think they're called under scrubs because they were just like really cute when I was looking on their website, and they're super soft. And Figs gives scrubs to healthcare providers in need around the world through their Threads for Threads initiative, which is so cool.
Figs is an amazing company that is making scrubs stylish and functional for the people who deserve it most. And they make a great gift for someone you know in the field. I know these are perfect for nurses, nurse practitioners, dentists, all of those people that you don't know what to get them during the holiday season. And a gift card to Figs is perfect for them.
So whether you are one of the awesome humans that work in healthcare or someone that wants to say thanks to these deserving folks, Figs is going to make it easy by providing you with 15% off your first purchase by using our code COFFEE.
Get ready to love your scrubs. Head to wearfigs.com. That's WEARFIGS.com and enter our code COFFEE at checkout.
Can I tell you about this lunatic that I saw in the car?
In what car?
Well, actually, it was like this lady in a truck, but I had gone to pick up.
It's always a lady in a truck. Like, they probably shouldn't be driving the truck. You know what I'm saying? It was probably me. I'm a terrible driver, and I drive a truck. So,
oh my God. So I was going to pick Jackson up from basketball last week, and his basketball gets out at like the same time the middle school hours get out, and they kind of share like a parking lot. So in order to access the parking lot, you have to kind of sit through the first part of the carpool for the middle school because there's no way to get to the elementary school without sitting through that. So there's a cross guard out there. He's directing traffic. I'm kind of like sitting in this little small amount of traffic trying to get to the elementary school. And this other lady is in the other lane, but it's very clear that she's like in the carpool to pick up a middle schooler. So this lady, I look over at her and she's like, you know, like when there's two lanes, you can look over to the next person and like see directly in their car.
Yes.
So I'm like looking at her and she's like going bananas in her car. And
like,
I'm like,
in what way? Like, was there another kid? Was she yelling? Was she singing? Like, what was she doing?
No. There was no other kid that I could see in the car, but she was like slamming her fist on the steering wheel. And I was like, what's going on? So then a couple of seconds later, I'm minding my own business at this point. And then she starts laying down on her horn. And I'm like, oh gosh, like this is going to not end well. So mind you, when you're in traffic and there's nowhere that you can go, you laying on your horn isn't going to make a car go anywhere.
Don't you love when people do that?
And I was like, does she think that these cars are all going to jump the curb so that she can like go through carpool by herself? That's exactly what she thought. So at this point, she's laying on the horn, then getting off the horn, then like very dramatically, like laying down the horn. So I kind of like roll my window down and I see the cross guard like start getting very concerned. And I'm like, oh God, like this is not going to end well. I kid you not. The traffic starts moving. This bitch goes into the parking lot, passes by all of these carpool people, goes into the teacher parking, passes the entire line, like jumps from the teacher parking into the front of the line where she's bypassed all these people, and then gets in the front. Now, does she really think that she accomplished something?
Yeah, she thinks that she beat the system and got in the front of the line. Now, my question is why?
My question is if you needed to be going somewhere so fast, you should have gone earlier.
Okay, that's fair.
My second thing is now everyone thinks you're an asshole because now everybody knows that you drive a blue truck. You're a lady who drives a blue truck at the middle school. Couldn't be a lot of you. So now everybody that was in the carpool line has now identified you as a lunatic.
As a lunatic. Yeah. I mean, benefit of the doubt. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Maybe something really bad happened. Maybe she was late getting out of work and then she had somewhere else to be. Like maybe she had to go to work. I don't really know. I'm not making excuses for her behavior, but maybe there was something going on that she needed to quickly get to the front of the line.
Kail, if it was an emergency, she should have called 911. She would have had a better chance of getting in the front of the line by calling 911.
I read something on, it was like one of those meme things on Instagram this morning. And it literally was like, somebody was in the McDonald's drive-thru for breakfast and the person behind them was honking their horn and flipping them off because they were taking too long to order. So when she got to window 2 to pay, she paid for the people behind her. And I was thinking,
freaking read this.
So I was thinking that she was going to pay it forward. Like, you're so pissed off at me for taking forever. Now I'm going to pay for your order. So I hope you feel like an asshole. But instead there was a turn of events and they paid for the food and took the food. So now you have to get back in line to order your food again because you were an asshole and not being patient. So moral of the story is don't be an asshole.
So I was reading that
you literally get what you give. You literally get what you give.
I was reading that to Will in the bed the other night and I was like internally cracking up. And then he was like, what's going on? And then I read it to him and he was like, yeah, that's pretty funny. But like, I'm the type of person that would think that that was really funny because I'm the type of person that would actually do something like that.
Well, I mean, it's true. I just was like, honestly, like, don't be a dickhead. Everyone's going through something. Like, do not be a dickhead. And I'm going to bring something up. On Sunday, I had Sunday Fun Day. And on the way to go to what I was taking the kids to, we stopped at Wawa really quickly. And there was a lady in front of me at the Wawa checkout. And she only had 2 items. She had like a coffee and like maybe a sandwich or something. And why are you laughing?
I'm laughing because I was thinking about something that happened at Publix yesterday.
Oh, I can't wait to hear it. Okay, so really quick. It's a dumb story, but I'm going to tell it anyway. So the woman in front of me had like 2 items, and I was like, you know what? Just put her stuff on my tab, and I'll just pay for it. And she looked at me, and she's like, you're in a hurry, huh? And I'm like, I don't have to be in a hurry to do something nice. I don't have any obligations in the near 30 minutes. Like, I'm not doing something nice for you because I'm in a hurry. Like, I just did it to be nice because you had 2 items and you're elderly and I have a shit ton of stuff. So I'm just literally just trying to do something nice. So anywho, what happened at Publix?
At that point, I would have been like, please take your things off the belt and move to the back of the line. Thank you.
You can't. No. You know what, lady? Never mind.
You absolutely can. I bet a lot of you are thinking about what to make for you or your family for dinner tonight, and maybe you don't feel like cooking.
Well, thank goodness for DoorDash.
If you're having a long, tough day, treat yourself to the meal that you deserve. Have your favorite restaurants come to you with DoorDash.
DoorDash connects you to your favorite restaurants in your city. Order from your local go-tos or choose from your favorite national restaurants like Chipotle, Wendy's, Chick-fil-A, and the Cheesecake Factory.
Let dinner come to you with DoorDash. I know that Kail and I are always using DoorDash whenever we are recording together just because it's so easy for us to go on DoorDash, pick some of our favorites from Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts. And I have personally used it for Chipotle and Chick-fil-A because everybody knows that those are the only 2 places that I basically eat.
Right now, our listeners can get $5 off their first order of $15 or more when you download DoorDash app and enter promo code COFFEE.
That's $5 off your first order when you download the DoorDash app from the App Store and enter promo code COFFEE. Don't forget, that's promo code COFFEE for $5 off your first order from DoorDash. Okay, so this is kind of embarrassing, but I'm going to tell it anyway. So
Great.
I went into Publix yesterday just to get like a couple of things. And literally when I say a couple of things, like 2 things. I needed wacky eyeballs and brownies. So I had my 2 items, and you know how they have the lines that are like 10 items or less?
Yes.
Well, you know how people violate that rule all the time. And I'm like, where's the enforcer here? Like, where is the person that is supposed to be counting these people's items to make sure they're not going in the line where people like me have 2 items and then these jerks are going through with like 16, okay? So I see this guy coming with this kid. And I'm like, they definitely have more than 10 items. So I sped up as fast as I could so I could get in line before him so I could check out my 2 items before he got his items. Is that petty or what?
That's the story. I was waiting for like the cliffhanger or whatever. No, I don't think that's petty. If you have 2 items, and truthfully, I think that he probably should have just let you go in front of him.
But Kail, I was jogging to make sure he didn't get in front of me.
Is Publix like Walmart? Like there's always like only 2 registers open instead of like, I don't know.
Publix is actually really amazing. Like I love Publix.
I've never been.
You have to go whenever you come and see me. I love Publix. Yeah. What is the deal with Walmart, by the way? Like why do they have so many cash registers, but there are only 2 ever open?
But I always see employees walking around the store. Always.
And then my next question about Walmart is the greeters that are in the front. Why do they never check my receipt?
I have the opposite experience. They always want to check my receipt. And I'm like, this isn't Sam's Club. Like we are not at Costco. You don't need to check my receipt for my items that are in bags that I paid for. Like when did this start?
Well,
and like, first of all, you're hiring someone. Okay. And this is what bothers me because you're hiring people to greet and to check receipts, but they're not even checking my items as it is. They literally look at my receipt and then it's not like they're digging through the bags to see if I paid for it. They're literally just looking at my receipt. And I'm like, for all that, put that person that you're paying on a fucking register to help people because people avoid Walmart because of the lines and that reason. So don't you think it would be more efficient and you would make more money if you had more people at registers so more people would want to go shopping there because they would get through the lines quicker? Don't you think that that would be better? Yes or no?
Well, okay. I have a whole theory about like back to like the bag checking. I have a whole theory about this. So when they created self-checkout, I feel like that's why they would check the bags because if you came through self-checkout, then maybe you could have like slipped a few things in there that didn't belong to you, you know, like a little stealer.
But they're not checking the bags anyway.
They're just drawing smiley faces on their receipt, to be honest.
Right. And if that's the case, put that person that's supposed to be checking those receipts in those bags,
let them check
right
out
outside
people.
Of self-checkout. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I do know, I'm not speaking for everyone, but I do know that there are some people that slip some items in the bags, and I'm not one of them. And I personally, it's none of my fucking business. But at the same time, it's like,
you saw people doing this? Were you spying on people?
No, I just know people that do it. Like I know that there are people that do it.
So you know people personally that do it.
Like we're not going to do a citizen's arrest. I'm not going to like drop what I'm doing and then be like, you're under arrest. Like I'm not going to do that.
Oh, I absolutely would be like, excuse me, Monsieur. Like,
no,
you.
Because I would do it wrong and get arrested.
No,
myself.
I would just be like, excuse me, ma'am. I just saw you put those candy eyeballs in your bag that did not belong to you, and I did not see you scan them. I'm going to need you to take those out of your bag and scan them properly, or you're not taking the candy eyeballs.
Honestly, you could just tell the person that's checking the receipt at the door and be like, hey, that person in front of me didn't pay for their Twizzlers.
But Kail, then you've turned into a snitch. Like, would you want to be a confronter or would you want to be a snitch? Like, I'm going to be a confronter.
Okay, fair enough. That is
because
fair,
then I'm giving them the opportunity to do the right thing. You know what I mean? But actually, I just need to mind my own business. Let's be honest.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I just don't want to be a snitch or a confronter because these days you don't know what people will pull out of their pockets.
Oh, you ain't kidding, because there's some crazy people. Let me tell you. Did I tell a story on the podcast like about me hearing gunshots in my neighborhood?
I feel like you did.
Oh, well, if I did tell it, I was just going to give everybody an update. Don't be alarmed for me, because it was just people trying to scare off coyotes from like their cattle. But
do you think it's pronounced coyote or coyote?
Coyote. What do you pronounce it?
I say coyote, but I'm pretty sure it's coyote.
Okay, well, nobody out there is saying coyote, Kail.
Yeah, they are. I saw it.
No, they aren't. Just because it's spelled like that doesn't mean who says it like that. You have to come up with a name or it's a lie.
No, it's on a documentary I saw. It was a documentary about this man who had 6 wives and 28 children. And he's actually 2 of his wives are father and daughter. I mean, 2 of his wives are mother and daughter.
Okay, well, first of all, where did the coyote come in that story?
So they basically got a lot of land, like a lot of land, not a lot of land. Mm-hmm. And they put some trailers in a circle, and it's like in the desert kind of. And so he was saying that the coyotes would come sometimes.
What?
First I'm going to send you the link to this.
If he has 26 wives, I understand why he would maybe say coyote.
5 wives and 26 children.
Kail, go away. All right, guys, I am currently updating my wardrobe for fall, and I'm doing almost all of my shopping online, and that means I'm saving tons of money with Honey.
Honey is awesome. It's a free browser extender, and when you shop it online, it automatically tells you coupon codes and discount deals. Plus, you can make an alert you when an item you like goes on sale.
There's nothing worse than buying something, then finding out later that you could have gotten it for cheaper. I'm honestly the worst bargain shopper ever. Like, I don't know how to shop deals and stuff. So this has been truly a game changer for me. Shopping with Honey is like that magical feeling when the scissors glide through the wrapping paper. Honey scans the internet for coupon codes and other discounts. Then, like magic, it automatically applies the one with the biggest savings to your cart at checkout.
It knows about every coupon code, sale, or discount at over 20,000 sites like Amazon, Macy's, J.Crew, Domino's, Sephora, Target, and many more.
I've saved so much money on beauty products through Honey and even some tech gadgets for friends and family.
Listen, there's no real reason not to try Honey. It's free to use and installs on your computer in just 2 clicks.
Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/coffee. That's joinhoney.com/coffee.
There's so many things I need to tell you.
What do you need to tell me?
Okay, so last night I was on the internet, which was my first mistake. And my second mistake was going down this rabbit hole of Twitter. No, but seriously, this is like an honest,
I'm literally
not
crying.
A good story.
Like, I'm laughing so hard.
Okay, well, you're going to cry because you're going to be sad. So, have you heard of the Ace family on YouTube?
Yes, I have.
So, I kind of always thought that they were fraudy. Like, I thought like they were frauds. I thought they were liars. I think they faked that their first break-in of their home. I think that they're actor and actress. Like, that's what I think they are. So, if you're not familiar with the Ace family, they're a family of what started as 3 and now they're 4. They blew up on YouTube pretty much overnight, and they even had like Kylie Jenner do like a gender reveal for them, and they're like honestly millionaires from YouTube. So I was scrolling and I saw this video by another YouTuber who's not obviously as big as them. And he just goes into detail about how Austin McBroom, which is the dad of the Ace family, is being accused with his father and other friends of raping girls. And they already pointed out that it was weird that his wife, Catherine, which isn't her real name, by the way, she has some stage name, is not denying she wasn't at the birthday party for her husband, which is Austin. And basically, like, all of this stuff is going on, but the rape victim is not wanting to come forward like herself. She had someone else basically do it. And obviously, if you've read my books or followed my story at all, I did not report my rapes for many, many reasons. Sorry, my dog's trying to get in the room. Sorry, Karma. So I am curious to see what happens now because it's so public. And these are essentially like YouTube stars. Like they're essentially celebrities. They have more followers than I have. They've never been on like TV. It's just on YouTube. And I would be curious to see what your thoughts are on the video. I'll have to send it to you after this when we get off.
Yeah, I want to see this.
It's just really sad because it was like Austin's dad was involved. Their friends were involved. And then Catherine's just like on Twitter, like making jokes about other things. She's not even addressing the issues at hand.
Well, here's the thing. Right now. And I don't know if you feel the same way, but I feel like a lot of people in the TV industry or like, you know, social media, I would say like social media is an industry like in itself. Right. A lot of people that are so heavily followed, people have to understand that these are actually like real people and they're out here doing like the things that other people are also doing. But these people have these platforms and so they're getting busted for doing these kind of things. It doesn't make it right that they're doing them. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's amazing to me how people who get a platform can be so fake and so vindictive and manipulative to try to control almost like a cult following that believe anything that they say or do. Like it's very relatable. Right. I understand.
The guy who is telling the story for the YouTube video, it shows screenshots of everything. And the McBroom, I don't know if it was just Austin or just somebody from his camp, actually paid somebody about $500,000 to keep their mouth shut. So it's just really wild to me because I think in a situation like this, the rape victim would have to come forward or report it in order for something to actually be done. Because up until that point, I'm pretty sure it's just like allegations and he said, she said, I have, you know what I mean? Like you can make it seem like something it's not, or you can cover it up the best you can until the rape victim actually comes forward. I don't know how the rapist, I said it plural the first time, would be charged, but I'm like enraged by it. So I get on Twitter again this morning and I had seen Catherine, the wife, like trying to basically deflect to something else. And then Landon Romano, who is huge on Instagram for being funny. I had him at my launch party for Pothead. And he actually quoted her tweet and was like, basically saying like, I can't believe that you're trying to deflect when your husband is being accused of rape and you're not doing anything about it. You're not, and it's not even like you're talking against it. You weren't there to deny her allegations. You can't confirm an alibi. You can't do anything. And it's like, if I'm with someone and they're being accused of rape and I know they didn't do it, I'm going to do everything I can. And then on the other hand, it's like, well, if you talk about it, you're going to bring more attention to it. But this is rape. This isn't, you know, something minuscule. This is a huge fucking deal. And this shit's going viral. But honestly, it pissed me off because one, Austin has 2 kids and these kids are on YouTube. And now to come to find out that you and your family or you and your friends may or may not be rapists is really unsettling because little kids watch your show. Right.
Well, and I feel like just because I've been through so much stuff publicly lately that almost when someone does something that is very wrong and there are other people that are around that person that can stand up for what is right, it's almost like if you are publicly followed, you have a duty to stand up for what is right. Whether you are in support of this person or you're not in support of this person, you can be in support of them behind closed doors, but you better do what's right. And I just don't think that deflecting off of the issue, nobody gives a shit if you're talking about chocolate chip cookies when your husband's being accused of raping somebody.
Right.
Settle the issue that's at hand. And then if you want to go and talk about something else, perfectly fine. But if you're not going to talk about what's the issue at hand is, I feel like you just shouldn't talk at all because then it makes you look like you're really hiding something and you knew.
Yeah. I was just like, I couldn't believe that. I don't watch the Ace family religiously, but I know who they are and I have watched their videos in the past. So I truly didn't want to believe that it was
True.
But I mean, it's very believable. Yeah, I didn't want to believe it was true. And after watching the video, it's like, oh, wow. Like, I mean, there was literal pictures of blood on the sheets that I guess the rape victim or the rape victim's friend took and sent. So I'm just like, horrible. So I just wanted to touch on that. Also wanted to touch on the fact that October is awareness month for a lot of things. And domestic violence, one of them. I know rape is separate from domestic violence, but I did just want to touch on that really quickly. And, just like you said, using your platform for certain things. So I did see a couple hashtags on my timeline for domestic violence awareness month. So if you guys have stories or anything that you'd like to share, feel free to message us. And I think that we're going to talk about domestic violence a lot on next week's episode.
Yeah. All right, y'all. If you're a longtime listener of the show, you guys know we are super passionate about clean teeth. And thanks to Quip, we know for sure our pearly whites are looking their best.
Quip is an electric toothbrush that isn't bulky like the old-timey ones. It just mounts to your mirror and looks super chic. I love Quip because it makes it easy for travel. You can take the mount off of your mirror and stick it over your toothbrush as a toothbrush cover. And if you guys know me, my kids and I travel all the time, so it's just super convenient to just pop it off, cover it, and stick it in your bag.
I love it for all the same reasons. The sleek, intuitive design is simple to use and comes with a travel cap that doubles as a mirror mount. Quip's sensitive vibrations with built-in timer guide gentle brushing for the dentist recommended 2 minutes with 30-second pulses reminding you to switch sides, ensuring an even clean.
The thoughtful features make brushing something you and your kids will actually want to do twice a day, every day. Good habits matter to a healthier life. So help form fresh oral health habits with Quip.
And Quip automatically delivers brush heads to you every 3 months for clean new bristles right on schedule.
Quip starts at just $25 and you'll get your first refill pack for free at getquip.com/coffee. This is a simple way to support our show and start brushing better, but you have to go to getquip.com/coffee. That's QUIP.com/coffee to get your first refill pack for free. So get up right now and go get Quip, QUIP.com/coffee.
Actually, this morning, weirdly, I was just scrolling on Facebook and I had seen something that I had sent to Kail. And it is I guess what would you consider like that piece of paper, Kail, like a court document or something?
Yeah, it was like, I wouldn't call it like a police report, but
it's like a court filing or something.
Yeah, like a case document, something like that.
Yeah, like a case document. And above it, the charges were for aggravated stalking. And above it is a girl, and I'm not going to say her name. And the caption just says, "So today I started my journey of getting the files from my mother's incidents with her husband. The first thing I was able to get was the files from his aggravated stalking charge for stalking my mother. I want everyone who thinks victims are dumb for staying with their abusers to look at this for a moment. In January of 1999, my mother pressed charges for aggravated stalking against her husband for riding by our home, her work, and threatening her after she left him. You see where it says dismissal? Read under it. They dismissed the case on March 2nd, 1999, the day after he killed her and killed himself. My mother left this man, got a protective order, and filed charges. She tried to escape him. It got her killed. Within 2 months of filing this charge, a charge that required him to stay away and not be in possession of a firearm, he shot and killed my mother. Most people walk away when their marriage falls apart and their partner leaves, not abusers. Leaving is the most dangerous time for a victim. Think about this next time you go and make an ignorant comment about a victim staying, and instead of making that comment, ask yourself, what can you do to help the victim leave safely?"
I have a story of my own that I'm going to share when we have more time, but it literally gave me the chills hearing that again, even though I already read that this morning. I've talked about it in the past. I've had friends leave me because of a situation that I was in, and I feel like, first of all, I didn't even know there was Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and it just so happened that I was Googling yesterday and I found out that it's October. And also on this website that has all the information, it said that victims are 70 times more likely to be killed during a time where they're trying to leave their abusers. And that really hit home for me. And I feel like, I feel a lot of emotions. I feel angry. I feel sad. I feel, believe it or not, like sympathy towards some of the abusers, because I feel like they need more than help. Like going to jail is not going to help them. Those charges are not going to help them. Those people need to get actual help, like therapy, coping, all of that. So like, I feel like jail is going to make them more angry, and I don't know what the logistics are of jail or prison, and what do they facilitate rehabilitation? Like, what does that look like? And then what does it look like for domestic violence victims? Like I said, I'm going to talk about it more when we have more time, but I really just wanted to touch on that. But I hope that the daughter, was it a daughter or son that posted that? Do you know?
A daughter.
I hope that she was able to break that cycle for her own family and for her own life, because I think a lot of times when you see it as a child, it's, I don't want to say easier, but it's more likely to like reoccur. I'm actually starting therapy this week because I just need help, basically. And I don't know, I feel like there's a lot to be said, and I would love to hear more stories like survival.
I want to hear people's, stories of what they've been through, because I think that it's a lot more common than what we even know. And I think the more that we hear different people's situations that they've been in, the more real it becomes. And the more that we, can share. Again, I'll go back to, I almost feel like it is our obligation to share these things. When you are given any kind of platform, it should be used for the good. And as sad as this topic is, it's much needed to be talked about, and for people to feel like they have a safe place to go to. And I want to touch on something that you said earlier too, is that sympathizing with victims, and sympathizing with abusers. And I think it's because a lot of times you can see the bigger picture for yourself because you're not sick, and so
right.
You see things from a logical perspective, and maybe they're not seeing it, which then leads me to something that I saw. You had talked about going to see the Joker the other week.
Right.
Yeah. And this was amazing that I saw on Facebook as well. This person says, "So I'm not one to frequent the movie theater or watch TV in general. I saw the Joker on opening night and went back and saw it a second time the following night. It was one of the most profound and powerful films about mental illness I recall seeing. The way it depicted childhood trauma leading to mental illness, psychosis, and mental illness and psychosis in adults was disturbing. More disturbing, though, were the statements it made about how we treat and view mental illness as a culture. I think generally most of society would like to believe that monsters are born, their pathology predetermined. It makes it easier to look away, avoid feeling responsible, to act like the mess is someone else's problem to address, at least until that monster shoots up a school or a concert, or then we feel entitled to feel outraged. The truth is, many monsters are made, shaped by years of trauma, neglect, and lack of access to both mental health care and empathy. And still, despite years of suffering, failed attempts, they still long for human connection until one day they finally snap. The system and society didn't just fail Arthur, it failed his mom. Joker was 40 years in the making, and what we witness in this film is the result of prolonged, unresolved generational trauma." And it goes back to what you just said about, I do think that there's some type of connect of people who see abuse are more likely to accept abuse. And I'm not speaking off of something that I've read. I'm just speaking off of what I believe. And people who have seen abuse might be, or have been abused might be likely to repeat that cycle as well.
So I also think that part of the reason why I sympathize with my abuser is because I've seen pain and abuse and trauma myself in my life. So I understand how it can impact and affect your adulthood. And so I do think that perspective is a lot of it. And so I can sympathize with this person not having the proper outlet or the proper medication or diagnosis or whatever the case may be. So yeah, and I've seen mental illness, and, you know, there was a point where, you know, one doctor diagnosed me as having bipolar disorder. And then I went and got a second and third opinion just to find out that I don't have bipolar disorder. It was just what I had been dealing with at the time and didn't know how to cope with it. And so I feel like there's just so many things that need to be touched on when it comes to domestic violence and mental illness and mental health and stuff like that. And I just feel like I know that there are friends and people who want to remove themselves from your life because they can't hear you talk about one more thing of abuse or one more horrible thing that happened in your relationship or whatever. But I'm telling you right now that do not leave your friend who you know and you're frustrated with that is in an abusive relationship or trying to get out of one, because that's the time they need you the most. And so if I leave this podcast saying anything else, that is it. Do not leave someone that you know because you're frustrated. Just please. I know that it can start to wear on your own mental health, and maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a way that we can like help other friends, like the friends that are helping people in domestic violent relationships. Like maybe we can help them find a way to continue to help. But I've had so many people leave, and I just feel like we needed to kind of touch on that before the month is over, since it's already the middle of October.
Well, not that I'm excited, but also excited to talk in the next couple of episodes about specific scenarios of, you know, like things that have been gone through that maybe it can, even if it helps like one single person that's listening to this, then, you know, we kind of did our quote unquote job. I don't really consider this a job, but
no, passion project, same thing.
Yeah, job, passion project, whatever. But on a lighter note, can we please, before we leave people, talk about all things Lisa Frank? Because
yes. Okay, go ahead. I'm gonna let you start, but if you don't cover what I'm about to cover, I'm gonna go in.
Well, so Kail had sent me a article of where Lisa Frank was opening like this pop-up in LA. And
it's a pop-up?
Yeah, I think it's a pop-up. One of them.
So it's not like a lifelong standing new hotel.
Oh, maybe what you sent me. Okay, maybe I apologize. I think
it very well may be a pop-up hotel.
There are two different articles I think that we're crossing. So the first one that Kail sent me was a hotel that is in LA that is decorated like blown up 90s Lisa Frank.
Like Lisa Frank threw up in a hotel, and from ceiling to floor, Lisa Frank design. And
all of our childhood dreams came to life.
Yes.
So then Kail's like, okay, I'm going to send this to Kristen and we're going to go.
Yes.
Only to find out that it got sold out, like in
1 hour on a
or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on a Friday.
Yes.
So basically, if anybody has any connections to the Lisa Frank Hotel in LA, if you're listening or you know somebody who has connections to that, please send them our way, because we need to go there. So then after we find out and our little bubble has been burst, then Kail sends me last night this other article, and then I'm going to let you pick up on that, Kail.
Okay. So I had mentioned on the podcast before that there was a Lisa Frank hotel. We wanted to stay in it. And I then got messages saying, don't stay at the Lisa Frank hotel. And I was just kind of like bummed out because I thought maybe either they stayed in it or whatever. So I click on this article, and actually, no, I click on somebody's Instagram. This girl, I think her name's Amina. She had an apartment that's in the same vicinity as the Lisa Frank Hotel, and her apartment is decorated almost ceiling to floor, identical to the Lisa Frank Hotel. And she designed it and posted it in 2017. So that being said, I guess her landlord refused her rent money and has evicted her from her apartment. And Amina believes that it's because of the Lisa Frank hotel. And she just feels like she was gypped and essentially the hotel copied her entire apartment. Now, I have mixed feelings about it because I do feel like Amina has expressed on her own personal Instagram and her business Instagram, which has almost 300,000 followers. So she definitely has her own company, her own style, etc. But I have mixed feelings on it because she does talk about her inspirations and Lisa Frank being one of them. It is hard for me to sit here and say, well, if you lived in the vicinity of the hotel of where it is, you had to have seen the construction and the design and all of that going into it. I don't know, and quote me and let me know if I'm wrong. A hotel takes time to build, so maybe she saw it and started decorating her apartment the same. And I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I'm not saying that she did this. I'm just asking questions.
Right.
And if she was inspired by Lisa Frank, you can't really then turn around and say that Lisa Frank hotel and hotels.com then copied you, right? Because, I mean, the pictures that she posted and the story and everything that she posted is eerily similar. And so it's hard to sit here and be like, well, you copied Lisa Frank or Lisa Frank copied you. Like, did you see the picture? Did you look at it?
Okay, well, let me just settle this debate since you're skirting around it, Kail. Lisa Frank copies nobody because Lisa Frank is Lisa Frank. So if they put their design on something, it belongs to them. So I feel like it's always been themed. Like everything about Lisa Frank has remained consistent, like since the existence of Lisa Frank. So I feel like anything that they would do would just be because it was in keeping with their branding.
Right.
However, I'm going to go with you on this and be a little bit more on the other side of it, that we need receipts on when she started this construction of this place because...
Well, so it's an apartment complex and it's in the same vicinity as the hotel. And like I said, I don't know if it's a pop-up hotel. So if it's not a pop-up hotel, or even still, I don't know how long it takes to design a hotel or pop-up or not. So maybe the hotel was already in construction and she decided that she wanted to decorate her apartment this way. And then also on the other hand, maybe she didn't. Maybe she was decorating her apartment prior to, and then she posted it in 2017. Either way, it's still...
But who has an entire apartment decorated like Lisa Frank randomly?
Well, she even says that she was always honest about her inspirations and Lisa Frank being one of them. So, but it's just like, if your apartment is decorated, like if I decorate my house like Joanna Gaines from HGTV, I cannot then turn around and be like, well, I then saw a magazine article of Joanna Gaines decorating this house and she copied me because Joanna Gaines is my inspiration. It doesn't work that way.
Oh, Kail.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes. I just want you to call this girl out and be like, you are fibbing.
I don't think she's fibbing, but you cannot, I don't know. I need to hear and I'm open to different perspective and opinions on this. I really am, because I just don't know how I feel. On one hand, I do want to sympathize with Amina and I want to understand. I think her name is Amina. I don't know. She owns her own company. She's super cute. I love all her stuff, but I don't know how I feel about it. So I'm really open to hearing other people's, because people were messaging me saying, don't stay there. They copied her apartment and this, that, and the third. But it's like, what the fuck? If someone,
this is where it gets weird for me.
Listen to me. If someone took Pothead's logo, not logo, but like whole design, and they were like, you know what? I love these color schemes. I love these colors. I'm going to ombre my walls with fucking ombre wallpaper. And I'm going to do all of this. They can't turn around and tell me that I copied them when I open a fucking office building with ombre wallpaper. Like, you just know that's not, you didn't trademark this. You took my idea and you put it in your apartment, and now that's not my fault.
I am 100% agreeing with you, 100%. But here's where I'm going to be the Mythbuster on this.
Okay.
Since the apartment complex is owned by the same company that owns this hotel, correct? Mm-hmm. I'm going to venture out because I don't know if anybody's ever lived in apartments or lives in apartments that are listening. I'm sure there's lots of you, and I have lived in apartments. People around apartment buildings talk, and you kind of know like what's going on around your area. So do we think that somebody was talking in management maybe to this girl and was like, oh, this awesome hotel's coming down the road that is completely Lisa Frank themed. And then she was like, oh, like she is an inspiration of mine. And then she went and decorated her apartment like that. Like that's what I'm thinking happened.
Or maybe maintenance came and worked on her apartment. And maintenance was like, oh, wow, this is Lisa Frank inspired apartment. Let's tell someone else I know and let's do a pop-up Lisa Frank hotel. How cool would that be?
This is true. What we need to find out is if it's a pop-up.
But either way, it's Lisa Frank's trademark. Like, I think her name, I don't know how many times I just don't, correct me if I'm wrong and I can take it. But if her name's Amina, she has her own brand partially inspired by Lisa Frank. So when it comes to something like that, how does it, and it's her apartment. No residents are coming to stay in her apartment. So what does it really matter? What is she looking to get out of this? I guess
maybe they were thinking that she was going to try to put it on like Airbnb.
I mean, there are landlord rules for or against that. Some landlords allow it and some landlords don't. The other part of it is she did lose her apartment because of it. She had to move.
But if
is that even fair? Like, I don't know that that's fair. I think I'm going to advocate for her on that foot. I feel like just because there's an apartment similar to the hotel next door doesn't mean that I should lose my place of residence because they're similar. Nobody's going to come up to my apartment.
Well, also, I've lived in apartments before, and I know that like it would have been against the rules to like paint cabinets and like do all that kind of stuff. So like maybe she's in violation of something that they were like, oh, we can use this as a loophole to like not accept her rent.
True. That's true too. So it's like
we need answers. That's basically what we need answers.
Right. I mean, I'm sure that more press will reach out. I did look at her story yesterday and she told the whole story and she showed like even down to the toys in the cabinet was, eerily similar. But again, it's just like, I don't have all the facts and I'm open to hearing them and reading them. So please send them our way so that we can cover all the details.
Before we go, I just wanted to tell you that I am making little Halloween treats today. So I'm going to have some recipes coming for you guys that are going to be kid friendly. There's 3 different things that I'm making today, and I'll have pictures and everything so you guys can see how they turned out. Because I know a lot of people have been sending me messages asking about like more recipes and stuff. And it's the fun time of year to like get your kids involved. And I know Jackson loves to be in the kitchen. I don't know if your kids like to.
They love it. Oh my God,
yeah,
they love it.
I think it's because they get to make like such a mess. So I'm going to be putting that on Instagram within the next like week or so. And I have already been to the gym today and am off to go and buy cool weather clothes for Jackson because it's finally here.
Yes. Thank the Lord.
Thank
there is one.
The Lord. Well, Kail, hopefully I'll be seeing you in like 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah, hopefully. We're going to make that happen.
It's going to be happening. So thank you guys for listening. I think that's all we have time for today, unfortunately. So if you have not subscribed to us, you can do that by searching the Purple Podcast app on your iPhone. Type in Coffee Convos, click subscribe, click the 5th star. Leave us a written review, anything really on there, like what you like about the show, what you would like to hear more of, whatever. I'm constantly going on there and reading them. So I hope you guys have a great week and we'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
This podcast is brought to you by Wave Podcast Network. Check out all of our shows, including the Brain Candy Podcast, I Don't Get It, Coffee Convos, and Let's Talk About It.